Hi everybody, welcome to All Games New and Old. I'm David Rodriguez.
And I'm Hillary Rodriguez.
And we have another bite-sized review. These are reviews where we look at games that have kind of a small form factor. That doesn't mean that they are not deeply strategic or anything like that, but case in point, that's the game. This is from Buttonshy Games. It is called Battlecrest, and I think all their games are basically like this, which is bonkers to me. They did send us this copy of the game, as well as a couple others that we'll get to down the road, but just so you know, they did send us this copy of the game to review, and so here we are. We're going to review it. So this is designed by Dustin Dobson and Milan Zivkovic. I hope I'm saying that right. But let's get into it. Let's talk about how this sucker plays.
Yep. Each game comes with two characters that you're going to play as, and they'll have ability cards that you will use, and their ability cards are double-sided. And as you exhaust them, you're going to turn them. There's a crest, which is where the Battlecrest comes from, that will, when that is showing, then it can give you like a bonus on some of your other abilities. When you decide that you want to refresh, you're going to flip that card over, and then you'll use the other side. So there's some strategy in which sides you want to have up win, and you might not. You might go through all your cards before you reset, or you might not, because you might want to have the other side for a certain card that's out. And then some of the characters also have minions, and then they'll have their own little abilities.
Yeah. A lot of the cards, when they're not your character cards, are the location cards, and those you're going to set up in a specific way, but you could put them out randomly. They just have to be in certain locations, and this is going to form the grid that is essentially the board that you're playing on. It obviously doesn't come with an actual board, because again, tiny, but you could kind of, based on where those are placed, imagine where the spaces are. Your characters are going to start at opposite corners, and when you get playing, you are going to use your movement to get close to each other. You're going to use your skills to attack each other or do other things. And if you're near certain spots on various locations, those could give you bonuses or let you move kind of differently as well. And you're just going to basically keep doing that until you've knocked out the entirety of someone's life. And then you're the last one standing. That's pretty much it.
Yep, pretty easy, quick game, but a lot of complexity to it, so.
Definitely.
So for the components, there's really not a lot to these games. There's the case, and then there's 18 cards. And so the cards, they don't have to be shuffled, so they're not like a super thick card, but they're nice and big. And so, when, especially with the location cards, it comes in handy because they'll have little icons on them to represent, extra movement, extra defense, offense, attacks, all that kind of stuff that can give you bonuses depending on where you're at on the map. And so it's nice because you can see those icons from a distance. The one kind of drawback is that it makes kind of it takes up a lot of space on the table because of that. And then with your health marker, it's based off, you have a character card that moves along on top of, above where your ability cards are. And so if you have issues with visual spacing, this game might be a little bit of a challenge for you.
Yeah, I think so, too. I felt like I got the hang of it, as soon as we started going, but at first it's a little weird, especially the health one. The health one gets a little odd because it's you start, kind of kitty corner to, your first skill card, and then you go over the skill cards, but then there's usually a couple spaces that there's not anything else that it's directly connected to, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
so.
And then because your skill cards you're turning, that can kind of change the spacing, and so, if you're looking at your opponent and trying to figure out how much health they have left, it can be a little bit of a challenge because it's okay, well, are they above this card or are they above this card?
Yeah.
And different characters have different health too, so you can't even really look at your card and be okay, well, there should have this much health left.
Yeah, I realize I'd ruin the point of the portability of this, but I would almost want to make some kind of a little board or sheets at home to track it a little easier for myself, but I wouldn't want to hold those everywhere necessarily.
Yeah, I think even if they had the card and then just had a small little token where you could move that on the card, I think would help. I think that'd be all right. I really like the art in this game. It's very comic booky style, I would say. So, really bright, colorful. Every character is very distinct from each other, which is pretty awesome. My only complaints about this are things that really are all to do because
it is such a tiny thing. Which one is the board, which we've already talked about. Also, like the rules come in these pamphlets, which I don't tend to like fold-out pamphlets anyway, and because of how they've done it, there's like 2 separate ones. I will for sure grab the wrong fold-out pamphlet when I'm trying to look up a rule first, every time. It's what I do. I understand that maybe it had to be that way, but it's just something that I don't prefer, but...
My other concern is because, like, the way these games are designed, they're designed to take them with you and to play them elsewhere. And so having 2 different pamphlets for the rules, it's really easy to lose one of them.
Yeah, I would think so too. So there's that. That's really my only complaint, though. Other than that, I'm pretty... I like the little, it's almost like a little card wallet or something. I think that's really impressive. So I don't have any real complaints as far as that goes. So for the theme of this game, there's not like a ton of backstory. There are some little, flavor text things in the rules and here and there, but I don't have a great sense of what this world's really all about. But the nice thing is with the character design and their skills and all that, like, I get what they're doing. I get kind of who these characters are. So even though there's not, like, massive description about everything, it's not a narrative game, I still get the sense, okay, I get it. Like, these 2 characters are fighting. This one's like this, this one's like that. So there's enough of a theme to keep me interested in it through the game, I think. What about you?
Yeah, I know theme is a much more deal for you in games than it is for me. You definitely get a feel of the characters from the artwork and, like, kind of what they're about between the artwork and their abilities. The locations help kind of build the world a little bit, and you definitely feel the tension of being in a fight against somebody else running around, but that's kind of where the thing kind of stops, so.
Yeah, I agree.
So for overall thoughts, I'm really, really impressed at how much depth they were able to get out of this game with only having 18 cards. And I think that this is a game where the more you play it, the more you're going to learn tricks and be able to utilize the location cards better. I think some characters, like, they're kind of designed so as you learn the character better, they will be a really good character. But they might not be a great character right off the bat. And that's kind of where the big drawback for this game is for me, is I feel like the 2 characters that come with the set, with either set, are not balanced. It seems like one is very fighty and fast, and the other one is a little bit slower, and, like, some can attack up close, some can have range attack. And when you only have 2 characters, it can kind of feel very unbalanced. And I feel like both of these sets, if you play with just the cards that are in that set, it feels unbalanced. If you get both sets, and it's a cheap enough game, you can very easily get both sets and mix and match them, I think it becomes more balanced.
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence that the characters in each set that we felt were weaker than the other one just take a lot more finesse to get the most out of. Like, I think there is balance there.
Yeah.
But one seems so good out of the gate that you don't feel like you have to plan as much for, and I think the other one takes more planning. So if you're getting this game and you're playing with someone for the first time, like, it's going to be kind of rough until one of you gets the handle on the character that's a little more tricky to play. And I wish they'd have done these 2 sets where, they took one from one and one from the other and combined them that way instead of the way they did it. Like, I think it would have made for more interesting fights out of those 2. Although one of them is technically an expansion, so I guess you're probably not going to have that without the previous one, but still. It would just be kind of nicer for it to be that way, because I think some people might play this and be like, man, this seems kind of uneven, and then not play it, when really it just has enough depth to it that you just kind of have to figure it out. It makes me think of, this is not going to be the last time I mention this game, it makes me think of Summoner Wars. If you saw our review for that, there was one faction that we thought was super overpowered, because they were just like straightforward, they could dish out damage, they were like a steamroller. But when we said that in our review, we got comments saying, like, no, those are actually the weakest ones, you just have to once you figure out how to deal with their stuff, it's fine. And I have a feeling it's going to be the same thing here, where it's like, yeah, that one is really straightforward and can just come at you and do a bunch of damage, but, the other one might actually be able to dance circles around that person once you figure out their quirks a little bit better. I have a feeling all that's there, but yeah, just initially it's going to feel like, oh my god, this person can't take this other person. It's just not in the cards. So, anyway, it's like expecting anyone to be Batman. It's not really going to happen. Sorry. So all that being said, though, I am in awe that they took 18 cards and made a game with this much depth, because I had not played a Buttonshy game before. I was expecting this to be just like the most super light breezy, like simple thing on earth. And it's not hard to learn, I don't mean that, but it's way deeper. Yeah. Way deeper than I would have ever thought possible for an 18 card game. And maybe this is very typical of all Buttonshy games, I don't know. But whatever the case as far as that goes, in this one, dang, that's nuts. I've played games in much bigger boxes that don't have this much depth.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Super impressive. Kudos to the designers for figuring this out, because it absolutely boggles my brain. I can't figure this out. It's insane.
So for me personally, I'm going to give this game a 5. I struggled with the lack of map in this game, mainly where, like, how far out the game went. It only goes past one spot past the last location, but my brain kept wanting to stop at the locations, and so moving around became a little bit of a challenge for me. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the health also was a little bit of an issue. It's really because, like, there's one part where it flips when the car flips over, and like that took us a while to be like, okay, does the health go here or here? Like, when it flips over, it kind of became a little confusing for us. I do think that there's a lot of depth to this game, and I think that character imbalance will balance itself out after you play it for a while. But because the initial feel seems so unbalanced, I don't know if I want to play the game enough to find that balance. And then, like I said, with how much space this takes, this game is designed to be a game that you just put in your back pocket and take with you and play out while you're out and about. You know, we've talked about this before. I like games that I can just shove into my purse or my pocket and take with us, so when we're at a restaurant or a bar or something, we can, while we're waiting for food or whatnot, we can just pull out a game and play it. And that's definitely what this game is designed for. I just don't know, because of how much table space it actually takes up, I don't know how likely we would be able to actually use that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I have a lot of the same thoughts as you do on this. I ended up giving it a 7 because I think I just like it a little more. Because the idea of figuring out these characters and how to use even the more finesse ones kind of excites me. And it's much easier and a much smaller hill to climb to think, well, I will figure out one of these finesse characters, rather than I'm going to buy an entire Warhammer army that's finesse. And God, I hope that works out, because, you know, cheaper. Like, cheaper than a model of the entire Warhammer army. Way to go. Anyway, it is not like Warhammer, really. But anyway. Yeah, with the portability, well, it's not so much portability, but where you're going to play it, that issue that you talked about. Yeah, you can't really do this at a restaurant because you're going to have glasses and all sorts of other stuff on the table. You know, not that that's a requirement. But I was trying to think of how I would actually utilize this game, because it's nice you could throw it in your pocket and be like, well, I don't know, if something happens where a game comes up, we could do it. But then you still have to be in a spot where you've got table space to do it, so it makes it a little less likely. But if I'm at home and I want to play a game that's this kind of like, you know, head-to-head, you know, tactical battle game, am I going to pull out this, or am I going to pull out, like, Summoner Wars, which is, you know, a great game, bigger, but not that much longer, maybe twice as long for a match, maybe a little more, I don't know, but still not like an incredibly long game, still not an incredibly hard game. And since we have, you know, ample table space here, I'm probably just going to pull out that one. And if I'm going somewhere where we have table space, where I might play a game, I probably also have room to take Summoner Wars or whatever other game, you know. That being said, it is a different game than Summoner Wars, don't get me wrong. It just is also like a tactical, you're moving on a grid and it's cards. That's the comparison right there. But I would like to learn it more. I like that is there, and there's going to be a lot of people who I think this fits perfectly into their lifestyle and what they do. I don't think it fits perfectly into our lifestyle and what we do, but that isn't, to me, a knock on the game by any stretch. Like, I like it. I'd be thrilled to play it more and learn it more, but it has those particular issues, which, oftentimes those are things that I also think are amazing about them doing this, but it's there. So I think it's awesome. It's $12 for a set, so if you're curious at all, I mean, it's worth giving a shot. I think it's worth giving a shot just to see what they did in 18 cards. Crazy. I keep flinging this up like I'm going to throw this at the camera one of these times. Anyway, but definitely worth checking out, I think, for sure. But yeah, for me, it's a 7. If later on down the road I feel different about it, I'd love to occasionally do like a recap if we feel like we have enough games that like our opinion has shifted on to do it. I wouldn't mind, revisiting that again and seeing how we feel later. But for now, we got a 7 and a 5. There you have it for us. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If it has, please hit like and subscribe and click the little bell icon so you can know about the next time we put out a video. Otherwise, I look forward to see you all around the table again at All Games New and Old. Bye.
Hi everyone, we now have a merch store, so help out the channel and check it out.
Yeah, all these games and the equipment and everything we do and costumes cost a lot of money. So anything you can do to help us out if you love our content would be really appreciated. We have t-shirts in tons of different colors and styles.
We have sweatshirts in a few different styles.
We have lots of stuff you can drink out of, like coffee mugs, pint glasses.
We also have coffee tumblers and water balls and a few other things.
Right. So,
the following announcement has been paid for by AGNO.
hey y'all, check it out. Brand new shirt. It's not just black, it's black and white. Get one today. You can get it with or without, for everyone on the back. You want something to drink? Is it Thirsty Thursday? That's what that means, right? We got something for your morning. Check that out. We got something for your day. And you know we got something for your night. Get your drink on with that. Get a little cold outside? Check out this premium hoodie. Damn, that looks good. You want to look good? You need this hoodie. What's that? You want a little color? Don't worry. AGNO has got you covered. You don't like purple and red? Don't worry. There's plenty more. Just check the store. All these clothes, not too big, not too small, just too sweet. Don't forget, All Games New and Old is for everyone.
The preceding announcement was paid for by AGNO.
So yeah, that's how you can get pretty much any Kickstarter at the All-In Pledge level for free. So when you saved all that money, make sure you go to our merch store, spend some of that saved money to help us out. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so let's try that again. So the are the components. All right. If you enjoyed that video, you might also like this one.
Or this one.
If you like any of our videos, what you should do is click this little button to subscribe so you'll know about the next time we put out a video.
We'll see you around the table.
Bye.
Bye.